a position that would pay more.
Correct.
It's always been that way. Now it's a little bit different because, of course, you have actors that make millions and, you know, making the same amount of money. But when you really look at the whole scenario of life, athletes, I mean, you got football, you got basketball, you know, you have baseball. You don't hardly see no ladies playing any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And most of that stuff is male. Most of it that they show is men. I mean, you have runners, track, I guess you can call it track. What else do you have? You have a few things out there where women can make good money, like, you know, the Cam Newtons out there or those types of guys. But most men are more in a position where they can make that type of cash. You know, the ladies are not in that position where we can make that kind of money. Even if we went out and got a doctorate's degree as a doctor, you know, or even as a lawyer. How many lawyers and doctors are you going to get? You know what I'm saying? How many little female athletes are you going to get? Because even WNBA isn't getting much publicity. So they're not even making that type of cash. So the male has always had more money than the lady, has always been able to be in a position to make more than lady, which is the way that I feel. But you do still have a select few out there that makes really good money too. Okay,
the men that you discuss, or you mentioned, these are athletes, and you are a limited amount of athletes around. So there's less athletes than overall men. So, I mean, so to put the athlete men compared to general men, I mean, I think that's kind of
wait. Well, let me just say general men and can make more money than ladies, because you guys can pick up positions that are truck jobs. How many ladies you see out there getting a truck job? You know, a truck job is a guy that travels around the states in a truck. If you can lift hundreds and thousands of pounds of, you know, boxes and stuff, you can make good money at that. There's more positions out there for masculinity than for femininity. So it's just not on the grounds of athletic or any of that. I mean, of course, like I said, you got your doctors and lawyers, but you got the truck jobs, you got concrete jobs. People who built those bridges out there are making good money. People who's building apartments and homes, the construction person is making money. You don't hardly see ladies doing any construction. Those guys out there is making mega money in construction. Just building sidewalks and stuff like that. And you get more men doing that than ladies. We can't do that type of work much.
Okay. Now you talking about construction when I'm talking about the business women who's going inside these big buildings uptown, wearing the suits, you know, wearing you know, they don't have to work construction. Because they've been to college, they've got this education, they're in a different bracket than these men are. The men you were talking about, they mainly are uneducated as far as college degrees and stuff like that. You have some of the guys that have that education, but then again, there's a statistic that there's more women going through college than men. So if there's more women that's in these being hired by these bigger companies than the men's are. So they're getting these better jobs than the men's are getting. I mean, the job, construction, I think a man would rather wear a suit and tie than be out there in the construction.
Well, I mean, you have that's what you feel, but I'm saying all these bridges and stuff that we have, there's a whole lot of construction workers that make really good money. But I see what you mean, but what I'm trying to say is there are still a select number of us who's still making good money. But I'm saying, again, how many of those types of jobs are available on the grounds of minority women or even women, period? You know, because when you look at the scenario and the aspects of life, there's more positions available for masculinity that's needed. They need male because of how the fact that you got muscles to lift and things like that, where they are able to pay you more than a lady. That's what I'm saying. I mean, and there's more jobs out there available for you all in those areas. We need men for masculinity, so they're willing to pay you good money just for your muscles, and that can be in all types of different areas. But you get paid more in those areas than a lady, because we can't lift hundreds of pounds. We can't do some of those jobs that you all can do. We can't do a car dealership job, for instance, working on cars, How many service advisors do you see as ladies that's working on vehicles? Those guys, I used to work for Mercedes-Benz as a manager. And when I went to the back, there was plenty of men back there working on vehicles. I didn't see not one lady working on not one car. And those men back there were making, and the income bracket level, their brackets is about 80, 90,000 a year.
No, because you saw the women working inside.
They were working inside, but we're making way less than they're making outside. I mean, those guys out there was making way more.
You can always tell the person that's making the most money is the person that's doing the less work. The person that's doing the less work, the hardest working people are the ones making the less money. And that goes from laborer. If you go to a company and you see a laborer and you see someone working behind a desk, the person that behind the desk is making more money than that laborer is making. And when you see someone that's working in an office and someone's working a mechanic, you would see, I mean, they making more money than that mechanic.
You think so?
They probably are. They probably are.
I mean, that's what you feel, but
I mean, I might be wrong,
felt
but
the man can make way more than the lady. And men will tell you that. Men have more opportunity than the lady has ever had.
This is a new age right here. This is 2017. Women taking over the better jobs. And
we
stuff.
are most definitely getting
It's
those positions, but you guys have, got opportunity, plenty of opportunity out there as well.
I mean, they're starting their own businesses. The women are.
Right.
Women are taking advantage of the opportunity. They got more grants that's coming in to help them. If you're looking for grants to help women, you got grants funding, you got all these things to help women to get to that next level. Some of those things you don't find in guys. Guys are not probably given them.
I never knew that.
I mean, I'm not saying that they may have one or two or something like that, but I'm saying you have more of a, for women, businesses, finances for them to start their businesses than men probably have.
Oh, okay.
And that's just something that, but as far as your calendar, I mean, I know you inspire your calendar and all that, but what do you feel is the best thing about your calendar?
The best thing about the calendar is, once again, just being able to touch the hearts and the minds of the viewers out there and the people out there who's actually buying that calendar and reading it, to be able to inspire them, inspirational, motivational, on the grounds of everything that there is possible to touch their hearts and minds. Healing, which is the number one goal, is to heal our ladies in any area that's needed. And I pretty much touched all types of topics in that calendar on
like what?
How to heal. Well, other topics outside of relationships that I've touched is growth, children, how to deal with being single mothers, how to deal with being a single parent, and the healing of that. Because, a lot of women talk to me about it's hard to be a single mom, or it's hard to be a single parent. And I've touched a topic in there on how to deal with the healing of that. Things that you can do to deal with being a single parent. What are things that you can do to help yourself to deal with that area, because it isn't easy to be a single mom. So there's topics in there about that, and then there's other topics about education and, growth and leadership and everything that there is abuse, and why not to take abuse from, violent men or violent women or violent people. You can be abusive physically or mentally, and why to avoid abuse. So it's just all types of topics in my calendar.
I know you said it's not that easy to be a single mom, and it is, and I applaud the women that's out there that's taking the responsibility as far as being that single parent. But you also have these single men out there that's taking these position now, and they're doing some of the things that these women used to do. They're becoming a single parent, they're taking the kids, and they're doing, because I was a single parent for 18 years. So I know how it feels like to be a single parent, and I know what it takes. So, I can relate to being a single parent. And it's not an easy thing, but then again, it's a challenging, and it brings on more responsibility to your life. But you have that pride of knowing that you're doing something that, you know, that you have to do as a parent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I know I got some of my viewing audience probably want to know, why don't you have a calendar for men? I mean, I know that's you're into the women, but why isn't there a calendar for the men? Because men need motivation just as well as women.
Well, this is my first book calendar. This is my first motivational calendar that I have ever done. All the other calendars I've done was cartoon coloring book calendars, but this is the first one. So my goal is to eventually dab into the inspirational motivation of a male calendar somewhere in the near future. But this is the first one, so this is where I'm starting, and hopefully in the mid-future I'll be able to come out with a male calendar.
Okay. What do you feel are some of the things that men need to be motivated in, just from your experience being around men?
One thing that I really complain about with men is degrading, you know, their women nationally all over television and radio and TV, you know, TV, radio, social media. I think that the degrading really needs to stop it. You know, for instance, talking trash about women, such as weed blogs, or, you know, or baby mama drama, or a whole bunch of kid problems, and, you know, or living off the government, or they look like clowns, and, you know, just out to use you for what they can get. You know, just trash talking ladies as if we're nothing but ragdoll trash. I think that that's a area where men most definitely needs to improve in, because, you know, I don't think that men would really like ladies getting all over TV or radio or broadcasting trashing men at all, which is something that we're really not doing. But when I get on the radio, for instance, I got on the radio recently and heard on the radio, you know, that it was a male show, and it was a whole bunch of men that just came on the radio and they just talked trash about their wives and, you know, their families. And one guy came on there, he was a white guy, and he goes, the guy asked him, he goes, yeah, I am a white guy and I'm married, and he goes, I have, you know, he goes, I'm so sick of this lady, I just want to take myself a dog, which is what I should have did, and just got a dog and just had that. He goes, I don't even have interest in this lady and this family. He goes, I don't know what I was thinking to even have anything to do with who she is, because she's just getting on my nerves. I'm tired of her personality. You know, if men just had dogs and us, we good, you know. And I just, you know, felt that it was just a little bit disrespectful to get on there and just talk trash about her. Correct. You know, and then he made himself look like he was the perfect guy and that she was the one with the problems. And then of course there's a few other men had got on there who complained, and they just talked trash about their ladies and just women in general. And I feel that as men, you guys need to be careful with that, because that could hurt our feelings. You know, just getting all over radio and stuff, just degrading us as if we're just nothing but, you know, trash. You know, if we're valuable, and, you know, at least respect us. If you're not going to talk trash about your mom all over, you know, the radio or the internet, or, you know, all over, you know, TV or whatever social media network form is out there, then don't do that, you know, to your lady. Treat her like you treat your mother. You know, respect her, because I'm sure she wouldn't want you to do that either.
You think they've been hurt?
I think a lot of ladies are hurt because...
No, I don't think the ladies. I'm talking about the men.
I feel that the men are probably hurt, but one thing I've always felt about life is that, you know, men and women are two different species.
Correct.
Men think a little bit differently. They act a little bit differently from women. Women think differently, act differently as well. Women are more emotional. Men are a little bit different. You could be emotional when it comes to masculinity, but you don't know emotional with femininity. You see what I mean? Because it's lady and gentleman is two different things.
Correct.
You know, it's like cats and dogs. So I feel that could be what's going on with it. It's two different species, and when you bring the two together, you have to have an understanding of what's going on with each other. You know, I don't think that any relationship can hold if a lady don't know about a man, and if a man don't know about a lady. You have to know about each other to make it work. Like, you know, for instance, when you have male friends, you guys can probably make that work because you know about each other. You know what's going on with each other. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel that needs to happen with ladies. You know, and ladies need to do the same with a man. But I don't know how to get that going. I don't know how that would work, because it never was that way. You know, in the creation of the beginning of time, I don't know what God was thinking, but He never made a man to be able to